Time for number 26 on my Best Picture Marathon. Best Picture Marathon theme song. Fred Zinnemann's excellent western High Noon did not win Best Picture for 1952, but Zinnemann's next film won for 1953. From Here to Eternity was released by Columbia Pictures. The film tells several interconnected stories about various people living on a military base in Hawaii in the weeks leading up to the attack on Pearl Harbor. Burt Lancaster plays Sergeant Worden. Worden's boss's wife and Worden's love interest is played by Deborah Carr, in a bit of a change of pace for her. Nightclub hostess Lorene aka Alma is played by Donna Reed. She's actually a prostitute, but they couldn't say that because of the production code. And Angelo Maggio is played by Frank Sinatra in one of his best roles, and the role that won him an Oscar for supporting actor. All of those actors do a great job in this film, but the real standout is Montgomery Clift as Private Pruitt. Clift really should have gotten top billing, but Lancaster was the bigger star at the time. Clift is excellent in this film. He was part of this generation of young actors that were bringing more psychological realism through techniques like method acting into stage and screen performances. Director Fred Zinnemann was particularly known for fostering those kinds of performances in his films. And Zinnemann later said that the entire cast gave better performances because of the influence of working with Montgomery Clift. Zinnemann deliberately chose to shoot the film in black and white instead of color to emphasize the psychology and the grittiness of the story. I've always really liked this movie. Yes, it's a bit melodramatic at times. The storyline about Burt Lancaster and Deborah Carr's affair isn't nearly as interesting as the other stuff that's going on, but regardless, I find this film really compelling. Now, I've never read the original novel by James Jones, but from what I understand, the movie is a very sanitized version of what the book is. Apparently, the book contains so much sex and profanity that it was nicknamed From Here to Obscenity. In fact, the novel was so controversial that nobody in Hollywood wanted to touch the story, so Columbia was able to get the rights pretty cheap. The filmmakers had to find some clever ways to work around that stuff, and on the whole, I do think the film is effective. Decades later, there was a From Here to Eternity miniseries that is apparently more faithful to the novel. There were some other really excellent films that came out in 1953, like Roman Holiday or Shane, probably my personal favorite Western. But From Here to Eternity was a huge success for Columbia Pictures, bolstered by excellent performances, especially from Montgomery Clift. By the way, just like in Gone with the Wind, this film has a small appearance by George Reeves, who at the time of this film was starring on television as Superman. For years, there were rumors that a significant number of George Reeves' scenes were cut from the film because of his association with Superman, but none of that's true. Every scene that he shot ended up in the film. There have also been persistent rumors that Frank Sinatra got this role through his mafia connections, and even that a character later on in The Godfather was inspired by that situation. But again, those rumors are not true. Sinatra's wife at the time, Ava Gardner, told Columbia boss Harry Cohn that Sinatra would be a good fit for the role and that he would work cheap because his career was on the decline at the moment. And that's how he got the part. Anyway, I really enjoyed revisiting this film today. Check it out if you feel inclined. Coming up, one of my all-time favorites, On the Waterfront. See you next time.